The famous story of the burning bush is the subject of this week's Torah portion. And the story is famous. Moshe was shepherding his flock in the pasture, and suddenly he sees the burning bush. But the Torah says it's a very interesting language when it comes to Moshe, when he saw it and he turned aside. It says like this: Moshe saw the burning bush and that it wasn't burning up, that it was kept burning. And he said, Asura, now let me turn aside, Ve'era, let me see this great sight. And he goes over to see it, and that is when Hashem begins to communicate with him. And our sages always, as always, look to the words of the Torah to find nuances, to find hints. And over here, there's something very powerful that the Torah is trying to convey to us, according to the sages. You see, Moshe could have just walked by and seen the burning bush, and God could have just spoke to him. After all that, God wanted to choose him as his emissary to go to Egypt and redeem the Jewish people from bondage. But the Torah says something interesting, that the bush was burning, and Moshe walks by and he sees the burning bush, and he sees, let me turn aside and go over there and take a look. Only then does God begin to communicate with him. And according to the sages, this is very important. Sometimes in life we see things, we see extraordinary moments, and we're too lazy to turn aside and take a look to see what it is that God is trying to show us. We move on, we just say it's none of my business, and we don't even turn aside to look, we just continue with our life. And sometimes, my friends, when you're not ready to turn aside and to look at something great and to observe something great, you can miss your calling. God will you'll pass the moment. Moshe merited God communicating him because he realized something extraordinary is happening here. I need to turn aside. I got to stop what I'm doing. It's not business as usual. There's something interesting, there's something powerful, there's something different, something extraordinary happening here. And it behooves me to turn away from the path that I'm on, to take a look to see what is going on, what is God showing me. When you're ready to turn aside and pay attention and not to just be oblivious to your surroundings, that's when the call comes. That's when the communication from God begins to happen. And my friends, a lot of times in life, we see things, and we know that turning aside means responsibility, that we're called upon to take action, to react to the moment. And sometimes we don't have time, and we have other things, other priorities, and we just choose to move on and not to turn aside. That could be a pivotal moment in your life. When something interesting is happening, when something important is happening, something extraordinary is happening, turn aside. Don't be oblivious. Don't just walk by. Pay attention to your surroundings. You never know. That could be your moment. That God is waiting for you to turn aside and to take a deeper look. When you're ready to take a deeper look, deep things begin to happen. Very important things begin to happen for you. And your life can be charted. You can be on a new course that will change you forever. One little turn. That's all it takes. Shabbat Shalom, and all the best.